Well, hello. Here we are for our Q&A, number 113. Our lucky number, 13 anyway. All right, we'll go ahead and start with our questions. No, not a prayer. Okay, Lisa Vinson. Okay, she's talking about temple open house. Was the open house to the temple open to anyone, and how long did y'all have to stand in line? Kids seem to have a great time while waiting. Yes, it's open to everyone. They left it open for like 6 weeks, I think it was. And it was real busy when we went through with Davy for some reason. It was the first day of spring break, and so everybody thought, hey, let's go to the open house.
Originally, they were saying you had to have tickets so you couldn't get turned, but they said they didn't turn anybody away.
Yeah, they just like to get tickets so you can avoid the long lines, but everybody had the idea, but they don't turn anybody away. It's just easier if you have a ticket, but it doesn't cost anything.
We didn't have a ticket.
Davey got him.
Oh.
He had him reserved. But we really had fun. It was the kids, luckily it was good enough weather that the kids could play on the grass and stuff, and it wasn't windy or rainy or anything. But it's open to anyone, and whenever you hear there's an open house, go through it so you can see the temple, because it's just really nice.
Yeah.
That'll answer your questions. Okay, Frank Melina. Mama O, how did you... Milena, how did the fruit cup originate in your family? Did your mom make it? And thanks for sharing. Too much fun. No, my mom, I happened to be, I think it was 7th grade at a home ec class, and they made fruit cup one day, and I just fell in love with it. I just made it all the time when the kids were little, and it started out with canned fruit, canned pears,
your own
canned peaches, yeah.
If they can, because they might think of canned.
Yeah, my own canned. And then we started doing it with the fresh fruit. And boy, once you do it with the fresh, it's really good. But it's good with the canned too, because sometimes you can't, where you live, it depends on if you have the fresh or not. That's where the fruit cup originated, and we've just been doing it ever since, like 50 years ago. And that's where we learned it from. And I've just always been the fruit cup maker. Everybody always says, bring your fruit cup. They even get, so you can't come to the party if you don't bring your fruit cup. I said, okay, I'll bring my fruit cup. Okay, Courtney Lane loves my dress that I had on. It was a Sunday, but she was wondering where it was from. It comes from kneesseesdresses.com. And my daughter told me about them. Neessees dresses.com. Knees Sees. I'll post it.
Dresses.
Knees Sees Dress. I'll post a link for that below. But my daughter told me about them. She says, Mom, they're selling these dresses for like 20 bucks each. Hurry and get online there. And I said, okay, I'll do that. And I just love the dresses. I bought like 3 of them. I'd like to get some more. Okay, Sunshine Valley 121. You do a lot of running. Who was the runner in your family? Did it start with you and pass down to your kids, Davy, or did your parents run too?
I was the first runner, and I started running in my 40s, and as my kids grew up, I enjoyed running so much, I wanted to share it with my family.
And my parents did not run.
And
so Joe started it. Papa O started
and my own children, when they were in elementary school, I was paying them to run around on their lunch hour. They get 25 cents.
A quarter.
Yeah, the kids would say, why are you running on your recess in your lunch hour? Says my dad pays me.
And I wasn't a runner yet.
So my first race, and so I'd buy the kids all t-shirts. I'd pay the way into the races. And my first race, one of my first races with Davy, he was 9 years old, and I was running a 10K, and I still remember it was the Salt Lake City Classic. And I said, and that's 6.2 miles. And I looked at my watch, and I says, he was running alongside of me, acting quite bored, because I was going so slow. And I said, Davey, we did 8.5 minute mile, our first mile. That's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
He says, oh, really? In other words, he was. And he's the one that came up to me after my first marathon a couple of years later and said, Dad, why are you running so slow?
Yeah, Papa O got us all running, and I was teaching aerobics over at the church house, and Joe says, why don't you do running? I said, oh, why would I want to do that?
So after she had
I was
6 children?
32. years old when Papa was telling me about running, and I just was not interested. He says, oh, you've got the skinny legs, you've got the body shape, you should start running. I said, no, I'm just not interested. I like aerobics. Why would I want to run? And so he just started entering me in races, and I hated it. And then I started winning.
While she was passing everybody else, men and women.
Yeah, and I just started winning, and he just would keep entering me, and I thought, well, I should.
So in the closet,
start doing it.
Right behind here, there are all her trophies. You gonna show them?
Put them up there with my troll hats up here. Okay, here's all my trophies. The big ones are if I was first woman. The others are first in my age category. But Papa likes to brag on me.
Well, you didn't see it. Who is that really big one from?
Well, it's probably just
it's a first woman of some kind.
First woman, yeah. But I just started winning them, and I always hated the races because I'm quite competitive, and I always push hard, and I couldn't sleep the night before, and it's just so much work. But
and I asked her the famous question. I said, how can you just start running and you're fast already? And you said, I just wanted to get it over with. I
want to get it over with.
And,
I hate it.
That's something you're thinking, oh, I wish it was that easy for me.
And that was 30 years ago. I'm 62 now, and I started at 32. And we raced competitively for 3 years.
About 4 years.
And we'd put the kids in it, and we'd all win trophies. And Papa, he would never get any because he was in the competitive age category. But he was actually really fast. But he didn't think he was. But
see, I was in my middle 40s when I started in
and that's
races.
A very competitive age for guys. But so we've just been running and off and on. Now the kids are all older and married, and they just do it on their own now.
Because now I look at a man that's running, say, an 8.5 minute mile for 10K.
Yeah, that's really good.
He's pretty good. And
that was your time.
That was some of my time.
Yeah. My fastest was somebody timed me. I never had a watch to time myself, and somebody timed me at my first mile at 5.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I averaged about a 6.5 minute mile for my races. But Papa was the one that got us going in it.
Most people don't understand times, but that's fast.
That's fast, yeah.
6.5 or 5.
Now I'm a 10.5 minute mile.
And that's what I averaged when I was in my best time.
Yeah, but Papa's, you just started, I don't know why he started his running. The guys at work were runners, I guess, and...
No, I
ran. Were you? Well, you were running.
I ran on a regular basis on my lunch hour, but I ran with marathon runners that would slow down a little bit, and I'd run with them a couple of miles, and I'd say, "I'm holding you back." And
then you just decided to get us started, And then he just started entering us in races, and I thought, oh.
See, if you run two people, one's going to be faster than the other. It's just the way it works. And if you're running if you're just on a training run, practice run, sooner or later one of them says, I'm holding you back, so we'll run about a couple more miles together, then I can get my breath. Yeah,
and I was running, probably training about 12 miles a week, and then I got up to 30 or 40 miles a week, and I was competing against...
that sounds like a lot to you guys, but...
It sounded a lot to me.
But tell what the
They run like 100 and 120 miles a week, the ones I was competing against.
80 to 100, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But my philosophy is run to live, don't live to run. Some people, that's all they do is run. And I think, I don't want that to be my life. But since we were singers and we'd go sing at the old folks' home, I saw that world of the elderly. And then we were in races and I saw older people, and I saw that world.
Same ages as people.
I saw that world of the elderly, and I said, I want the running elderly. So that's why I keep running. And I always will, because I've seen it, I've witnessed it. What happens if you stop moving?
Yeah, there's a guy in one race that had a heart attack and then just jumped over him and kept...
I did not.
No, well, did
that's... Oh, that 20... No, you're right, that 20-year-old. He'd run a couple of marathons, and he actually had a heart attack,
and some lady says, "Don't stop."
I was first woman. I thought, well, I'll get down to the end of the race, and it was only a 5K. It was only 3 miles.
Oh.
But he had kind of stumbled and fell off into the dirt. And I said, "Oh no!" But there happened to be 3 nurses, and they said, "You keep going. You're first woman." and I said, "Okay." And they said, "We'll take care of him." He survived, and then he died a month later. But he was only 20 or 22 years old.
I
forgot about that.
This is my thing.
I thought that was a joke.
Kept me running. I read a running book once. This runner said the average person in their 20s has a heart of somebody in their 30s, and the average person in their 30s has a heart of a 40s. Progresses up. The average person in their 50s is waiting for their first heart attack, and it's all because they've neglected their aerobic exercises where you're making yourself get out of wind and expands all the veins in your body, so blood can learn to get to everywhere faster, and you live longer.
Yeah, it's just proven. And
that scared me. I just thought, I'm in my 40s right now.
Yeah.
And that's why I started running.
Back then you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it got us all running, and I'll just always run. I quit for 3 years because I hurt my hip playing basketball. And then that's when David got me into barefoot running. Now I'm back into running again. So there was 3 years that I quit because it was extremely painful. I couldn't run.
But Davey became our elite runner. He did the Ironman Vine. That's a 120-mile bike ride, about 2.5 miles swimming, and running a full marathon.
And
all in one.
Johnny was our runner in high school. He just was fast. He did a 4.5-minute mile.
Yeah.
And he was just nicknamed the Running Man. So that's just something that we will continue to do because it's good for you. And we compete now and then. But I try and run at least 3 miles a day. And even if you run a mile a day or walk, just keep moving. Do something. Okay.
I was going to say they have a lot of these step counters. Step counters are good for people that are measuring their steps, because you can say, "Oh, I walked 3 miles today," and that's okay. But the best activity on the step counters are when all of a sudden it beeps, and it says move.
Get up, start breathing.
No, it just says move.
My watch says breathe. Mine will beep and say breathe. And I go, I am breathing. What are you talking about?
It means breathe harder.
Oh dear. Yeah, so that was a good question. Donna Conrad, hey, she's talking about the race we were just in, the Salt Lake Marathon. And she was surprised at how many people were in it.
She says hundreds, but it's thousands.
Yeah. I think it was, 6,000?
It's about 3,000.
Oh, 3,000?
Yeah.
She says, I'm in shock. I cannot believe how many turned out, hundreds and hundreds. This was a Saturday run. She says, I can't believe how many kids would stay out of school, but it was a Saturday.
It's a Saturday race.
Yeah, they had a lot of...
$3,000 went to the first place. That was
really?
The prize, yeah.
Wow.
And you had to be a native of Utah to win that prize.
Yeah, she's surprised that it blew her mind to see how many would get up early and actually pay to go.
So they didn't have to get out of school because it was
Yeah, they didn't have to get out of school at all because it's a Saturday. But kids run it and they block the streets up. They didn't used to back when me and Papa O started running. They didn't block the streets, but they do now because there's more people.
I remember when I ran my marathon, and I did it in 4.5 hours, and just about a mile before the race was over, I passed up an 11 and a 12-year-old kid.
Wow.
And I thought, and then I passed up another person that was pushing a stroller, because I had a little burst of energy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm just saying, children
start out fast.
They can start out athletically at a very young age, like Catalina.
Julianne was age 8 when we would enter her. Catalina, our granddaughter, she'll be a good runner.
One of our 2 Boston Marathon runners was Julianne. She was 8 years old. Was it the 5K or 10K she was in?
10K. They didn't do 5Ks.
She was in a 10K,
back then.
And she was the last person in the race, and an ambulance was behind her, and offered to give her a ride, and she was crying and everything. And I think she wanted to.
She got first place because she was the only one in her age
but
category.
She refused to take the ride.
No, she took the ride.
Oh,
she took it. She goes, "Say."
But still.
And the kids thought she cheated because she wrote. But now she runs marathons. I think she's done 4 or 5 marathons.
Yeah, oh, she
qualified for. But we didn't think she'd ever be a runner. But she said she liked the running outfits. She got the outfits before she even started running, and then she got a group of friends that she runs with every day or every other day, and a couple times, 3 times a week. So she's a runner now. So
see, now on the watch,
it's just off and on with the girls because you got to, in between you have
some of them will take
your babies.
Their phones with them, and they'll have GPSs in them, so you can actually watch how far they are in the race and everything.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. And let's see, and she was surprised how many porta potties they had. And back in our day when we'd run, they didn't have porta potties. You'd go out in the Tulies. Or stop at a gas station, or wear a diaper. Some of the runners would wear something because to catch, because there was no place to go. But now they have porta potties.
Well, a guy can go behind a tree.
Yeah, it's a little harder for the girls. So it's different now for the racers. They block off the streets. They have porta potties. They have it really nice for you.
And water stops.
Water stops.
Where people
before we had to carry our own water.
Yeah.
They have packets for you to carry energy bars and stuff in it. So it's pretty awesome. And then she thought it was cute how at the race they were giving free stuff away to the kids, and they were painting faces. And she was surprised that Elizabeth Eby didn't want her face painted. I was surprised too. She didn't want it. And she's one that always puts the lipstick on.
It's kind of invasive for her, just a stranger, doing
yeah, I think so. She just would rather do it herself. But the races now are fun. I remember running a race once, and the police was telling me to stop running. I said, I ain't stopping. I'm first woman. I've got a time to beat because you're being timed. Now they have chips that you wear.
The chip is right on back of the
bib.
Number.
And it doesn't matter when you cross the line because the chip tells you when you're waiting for 3,000 people to get across that line, that could set you back about 5 or 10 minutes.
And they used to line people up.
Yeah.
The 7-minute miler.
Yeah.
Go here.
Fastest,
and the slowest ones start later.
Yeah. So it's a lot different now. Okay, let's do another question. Kathy Conley. Who was the little kid on the pot? In one of my Q&As, no, it was me.
Oh.
Because we had the outhouse, and it was just some pot I'm sitting on. I forgot to take that picture out. Yeah, it's a cute little potty, and it's just me.
The famous red one we'd take with us in the van.
Yeah, but that was me. Maybe I should post that again. I was always embarrassed of that when I was growing up. Now I think, who cares?
YouTube might shut us down.
With me sitting on the pot 60 years ago. All right, why don't we answer one more here? Okay, fascinating stories of you Christina T. Fascinating stories of you growing up on a farm. I can't imagine how your mom managed because, we had that outhouse.
And 13 children.
And 13 children. Yeah. And I can't imagine doing it, even though I did it when I was a kid. And she wants to know where my mom came from and was she used to farm life in Georgia.
Was she?
No, she was a city girl. Yeah, she was a city gal from California. And she was just kind of thrown into the farm life. I remember she tells a story about
she married a farmer.
She married a farmer, and her first baby, she never did nurse because she said she was always too nervous. She didn't nurse, so she was out of milk.
Milk wouldn't come down.
Yeah, she was out of milk, and she thought, well, I'll go out and milk the cow. And she'd never milked a cow before, and it took her about a half an hour. And she was trying to get milk out, and if you've never milked before, it's really hard to get the milk out.
Roseanne tried to train me to milk, and it took forever to know how to hold it and squeeze it out and everything.
And she said she got maybe that much in the bottle out of a half an hour, and then the cow's nose touched the fence and kicked the bottle out of her hand.
Electric fence.
Spilled it. Yes. and spilled the milk all over, and she just went in the house with an empty bottle, and her and the baby cried themselves to sleep because she couldn't get the milk out. And that was her with her first baby, and she did not.
Why didn't your dad go out and milk it?
He's probably working. He probably at Geneva mill. Still working, and she probably the graveyard shift, and so she just was not used to the farm life at all. She really never really did do much of the farm life. The kids, we did the work, but we had to learn how to milk and do all that, and she was in the house, but we had to learn how to haul pigs and horses and do all that. But
pick up stuff.
Yeah, pick up stuff. But my mom was born in California. That's where she came from. So, so it's pretty interesting, and how she had to become the farmer's wife, and they never did get an indoor bathroom. And I remember my brother Brent grew up to become a plumber because his father-in-law was a plumber.
And he offered.
Offered Dad.
Did they ever put a water heater in?
Yes. My grandpa Lee.
After a lot of years.
My grandpa Lee put one in, actually running water, and we did get hot water when I was about 12.
Was it well water, you think?
Yeah. And my brother offered to put a bathroom inside the house after he got married and became a plumber, and my dad said, "Oh no, you don't want a bathroom.
No," he says,
no bathroom in the house.
Unsanitary.
It's unsanitary." He says they need to be way out back. He did not want a bathroom in the house.
So he was raised with the outhouse.
And every time houses would come along our street and they'd put the sewer lines across, my mom would say, "Oh, Freddie boy, don't you want to get that sewer line run to our house?" He'd go, "Nope, pass on by." I think my dad liked the uniqueness or the attention he'd get from having that outhouse.
But well, he got sued a few times, didn't he?
But not from the outhouse. Yeah. Just other things that he did. And
manure that was piled too
high.
And
he stored a lot of manure, and he was always...
And he had a stack of tires, maybe hundreds of tires in a big stack.
Fire hazard, I guess, and cars. He stored a lot of cars. I'll post some pictures.
300 or 400 cars.
Yes. All right, we'll go ahead and close with a couple of quotes. Enough about us. No. But those are really good questions. Really good. It was quite a unique childhood.
It gets more interesting the more you talk.
It does. It gets more interesting. Yeah. So why don't we give a couple quotes here? Why don't you say one?
Okay, we have no place on God's altar. The many other things we give are actually the things He has already given or loaned to us.
That's true. Everything we have is from God. Yeah. And all He asks back is the 10%. Small printing.
Oh, no, here's...
You got a good one?
Yeah, do this one.
I'm going to put my glasses on for this one. Okay, 'cause I usually make it printer big. God does not begin by asking us about our ability, but only about our availability. And if we then prove our dependability, He will increase our capability. You got that one?
You just have to think on it.
Yeah, you just have to think about that one. Your capability and your dependability is what He wants.
Now I'm curious.
A lot of people would love to sit at the table and eat, but somebody's got to prepare the meal. That's who God needs.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and close. And thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And ring that bell. And keep those questions coming. And good night, everybody.
Good night.
You are excused.
My fond memories of living home. All the country roads I used to roam. I'll always remember living there. 'Cause there's so many things that we've all shared. There's the old gold stove and the bunk beds we slept in. My other sister slept alone while I slept with my twin. My brother